So I'm going to hit record. So, hi Simon, I'm with Simon. So Simon, tell us where your church is.
So I lead Highway Vineyard Church, which is in Stratford in the East End of London, in the borough of Vineyard.
And what's the demographic makeup of your area and where your church is, Simon?
It is like the whole world lives here in variety of nations, people groups. So yeah, amazing, multicultural.
Great. So, and in terms of percentages, what would that look like?
Ooh, that's a good question. 70%, 60 to 70% non-white.
Wow.
Asian, lots of Asians, Africans, West Indian.
Wow, fantastic. A mix.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 questions I'm asking all these other pastors, Simon.
Yeah.
So that we can learn from each other and be encouraged by each other. So the first one I sent you and asked was, because like everyone else, I've never done this before.
No.
It's not like I could reach for my extensive training on leading a church in a pandemic. It was like, oh, what do we do? So what did you do? How did you, as best as you can, how have you on-ramped into this situation and what have you had to do?
For me, it's I'm still evolving into it. I'm still learning as I'm going, and I can't say I've arrived at all. I'm just trying to keep up. Things that I've found helpful were resources from Vineyard, UK, sort of some of the things, practical stuff. Yeah. I mean, how do you do? I mean, I'm just not technical at all, online stuff, and so that has been a challenge. But thankfully, I've got a team that's helped me navigate that. Just sort of working through what does it mean to pastor the church? What does it mean to pastor the city? All of that sort of stuff. How do we do this? I've found reading and listening to people like Tim Keller, Tom Wright have helped theologically sort of work it through. I really found a Tim Keller kind of podcast a week or so ago really helpful, where he talked through his 9/11 experience, and he says it's a bit like that, and how we need to put our own oxygen mask on, how we need to look after our walk with the Lord primarily, then just that this is a big thing that isn't going to just go away and we're going to walk out the door and everything's going to be back to normal. It is going to take a number of years to get through this, and that brings opportunities and challenges. And talked about how the church was going to, well, it's more need but less resources to meet that need, and so how we're going to navigate that. So found that perspective helpful. Also chatting through with local leaders and unity leaders. So I chair something called Transform Newham, so chatting through with colleagues there, but just hearing about how other folk are looking at what they do in their sort of localities and that sort of thing. So and just trying to put myself in other people's shoes, those who are in the church, pastoring through prayer, I guess, is one, praying for people who are kind of responsible for, and just trying to systematically pray through my church database and try and encourage them.
Awesome.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So sort of like, what do things look like for you day to day now moving forward, and what keeps you moving forward?
I guess I've got a newish pattern. Every day obviously you want to start with the Lord, but and I try and do that and pray and read the word. Mondays, I guess, a bit more of a study, reading, prayer day. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm tending to focus more on church stuff, getting things ready for the Sundays, and chasing lots of Zoom meetings internally and some phone calls. Thursday, I'm more focusing on the borough stuff, on what's happening locally. And Friday, kind of a bit of mishmash. And then Sundays, obviously you watch yourself on telly, which is a bit bizarre. And then we have a prayer meeting in the evening. We started doing some online, kept our life groups going online in the evenings. So done that, and just started leading an online alpha course, which is fun. Small at the start, but we're hoping that more people will join.
Great. And so it might be the same things that you already mentioned, but any other resources for, now it's been a few weeks that you're looking at, any places you keep going to regularly to help you look forward?
I do find people who've navigated tough places helpful. So I found that Tim Keller helpful, and I'm reading a book by Ajit Fernando called Joy and Pain, and just that's been good. And I guess there's a lot of good resources that people are producing through these unity movements. The London Collective are gathering people together. That's been helpful. And just hearing what people are doing in their locality.
Yeah. Brilliant. So our last question for you, quick interview, I said it would be. That's really helpful, Simon. I think landing this last one on I think I asked you, so what's been the biggest challenge to you personally?
Yeah.
A personal question. And then the flip side of that, what's encouraging you, if anything is?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the thing that's challenged me most is the sense of inadequacy of, am I doing the right? What should I be doing? How do I, what should we be doing? Sometimes you then look at what other people are doing and you think, oh, should I be doing that? And then that's kind of doesn't do you any good. So that's been quite tough. And obviously not seeing people, but that's been, I think, the hardest thing. I think also just kind of gearing ourselves up for the future. What are we going to be facing? How are we going to equip ourselves for that? So one of the things in our borough that is kind of front and center is the large number of deaths that are expected, because we have the Nightingale Hospital, and they've just built a mega morgue on the Wanstead Flats, and you suddenly realize, okay, there's a lot of deaths that are.
So that Nightingale Hospital, it's at the Excel Centre, isn't it? They built 5,000 beds or something.
Yeah.
How far from you is that?
That's just down the road, to be honest.
Wow.
It's, and they've built a morgue that's eventually taking 2,500, 3,000 sort of departed people. So you suddenly think, actually, I've got to get my head around the fact that we're going to be dealing with a lot of grief, and am I ready for that? And that's for the church, but also for the community. How do we position ourselves and equip ourselves for that? So that's one of the things I've been looking into.
Yeah, wow.
And trying to think as a church, borough-wide, how do we do that? Because that's one of the unique things that we can offer.
Yeah, wow. What's encouraging you then? Lastly, at the end there, Simon.
Well, actually, it's been quite fun being just locked up with your family. so that's been pleasant and enjoyable. Our two boys are back and enjoying time with them. But I guess there's the hectic, but there's also a chance to slow down and kind of evaluate and think some things through. So, and just to know that ultimately God's got this, and gonna ride it with him.
Yeah. Any stories of things you're seeing happening that you might think, oh, it looks like God's doing something there, or that's a change, or that's
just the local encouragements of our neighbourhood? The Thursday evenings, getting out, clapping, just the connectivity. That's been amazing, and an openness and a willingness to kind of let one another into each other's lives. So that's been really good.
Great. Well, thank you, Simon. Just short and sweet.
Yeah.
Gives us, I didn't realise you were so close to the Nightingale Hospital and that. So, well, thank you. And as I say, we've got a whole series of these, and we'll be sharing them with people so they can get a bigger picture of what's going on with one another in our churches. So thanks again, Simon.